Hey guys, welcome to the Ramsey-Paul Show. It is Monday, December 23rd. Merry Christmas. We do not say happy holidays anymore. No, 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 that is gone. Trump is headed into office. This is Merry Christmas time. I hope you guys all have a wonderful Christmas holiday. Even if you don't believe in Christ, this is a wonderful time. Beautiful trees, music, fellowship. I hope you guys have a great time. It can also be a stressful time. I think there's a lot of fights during this time of year. And yeah, a lot of stuff to talk about. Number one, I hope everything is sounding good. I'm experimenting. What I did here is I finally bought a new webcam camera because the other one, if you guys remember, through all year, I would barely touch the cord and it would short out. It really sucks. So this one, it was rated really good. I'm still going to play with the visuals, but hopefully it looks pretty good. And I'm using the sound with the camera too. Hopefully that comes out pretty good. I will check it. I could always use my other mic, so I'm kind of experimenting today. So guys, thank you so much for being here. I am streaming on YouTube, Rumble, and on X. Thank you all for that. And as I said last Friday, I'm going into the new year, 2025, a little different focus and kind of change things up a little bit. I've been experimenting when to do the Ramsey-Paul show. Should I do it every day? Should I do it in the evening? Should I do it during the day? And I found every day was a little too much because some days there's not a lot in the news. So what's really the point? So I'm going to be doing it twice a week. I'm going to do it on Monday at this time, 11 a.m. For a couple of reasons. Some people, this is better, especially for Europeans to watch my show. And then at Friday night at 8 p.m., I will have the Ramsey-Paul show where we'll review the news of the week and have a lot of fun there. And every Wednesday, we have Happy Homelands again. I started that years ago with Tina Veek. Then I had Sticks on, then Sasha, and currently it's Alicia. And we hope to have a lot of guests and have a lot of fun. And Alicia, she's buying a new mic, and so everything's going to sound good with her. So we're excited about bringing that show back. And every Tuesday and Thursday, I will put out a short video. And I plan to keep publishing a lot on my Substack. Speaking of which, let me just encourage you guys, if you haven't so far, if you want to follow me and support me, let me put this in the chat here. Just sign up on my Substack here. And it should go in. Yeah, there we go, right here. And Substack is replacing eventually. If you're on Gumroad, don't worry, I'm still going to maintain it for the next month or so. But I'm trying to migrate over to Substack. I had Group App and Gumroad and then also X subscribers and Substack. And I got really frustrated with Gumroad because they've had a lot of technical issues with their email. And Substack, it's made for prime time. It's a huge platform. It's about the size of Patreon, really. And it really focuses on developers, doing videos, essays. So it really fits what I want. And it has a lot of features. It's just robust. So I'm going to Substack. That's the one I'm going to focus on. And you have a couple options. You can subscribe for free and you'll get my daily articles. But if you want to join my weekly, we have a community where we do a roundtable. It's a lot of fun. And the roundtable, I forgot to say that, is going to be on Tuesday, either Tuesday during the day or Tuesday evening. Again, we're going to alternate for the European crowd versus North American crowd. This week, tomorrow, Christmas Eve, we will have a Gumroad at 7 p.m. A lot of people maybe not have anyone for Christmas, or they want to get together for Christmas. So I'm going to do this Gumroad community. Maybe get Sasha to join us, and we should have fun on Christmas Eve. So join that. So you could get a free subscriber for Substack to get some of the daily essays, but to get private essays and the roundtable and also exclusive videos, subscribe to me. Plus, to help support me, I really do appreciate it. So that's kind of the new direction coming this year. I'm looking forward to it. It's always good to keep things fresh and uh, up to date. And I was going to say how to support me now. And I already got a power chat from Kim, $20. Thank you, Kim. That's very generous. Just love you, Rams. You are the older brother I never had. And Kim, I'd love to meet you one day. Kim is in Finland. Great people in Finland. Tina Vik, my original Happy Homelands guest. She was a Finnish girl. Sadly, she passed on too soon. But I really did enjoy working with her. So thank you, Kim. That's nice. And if you want to be involved with the show, I appreciate it. We have a few ways. There's Power Chat here, the link below. Do I have that up? The Power Chat? I don't have the Power Chat up. Let me bring that back up here. There we go. Power Chat here. You can send Power Chats. There's Stream Elements that have a tip feature. YouTube has Super Chats, and Rumble has a rant. And I want to do a shout out to K-Max. He sent me a great meat and cheese spread. Thank you, K-Max. We already devoured it. So, yes, hey, are you going to eat it on like night owls or something? I'm like, oh, too late. We already ate it. So, I think that's a little bit of what's happening. Yeah, Substack, got a new camera. Hopefully this works out well. I'm still going to be tweaking with it. I can do like how warm it is, or I don't know. Does the camera look pretty good? I don't know. I think it looks pretty good. So, and hopefully the mic is still good too. It makes it more simple because I don't have a separate mic now. It's supposed to be a fairly good mic for the camera. Yeah, all right. And let me just check here. I'm just reading the notes here. All right. Thank you guys all for being here. And let me know if the camera and the sounds pretty good. All right, we'll get into some of the show stuff right away here, what has been happening. Yeah, this is, and I can't show this on YouTube, but it was pretty graphic, and they blurred it out here, but this is just outrageous. It just infuriates me how much our government and the Biden, and you have to understand, I guess Biden gets somewhat of a pass because he's senile. He doesn't know what he's doing. But the people around him, they hate white people. They hate Americans. They hate Christians. And we had this happen the other day. A woman was burned alive on the F train in New York City. The suspect then sat to watch. And it's this guy here, this fine-looking man here, did it. And it turns out this wasn't just some random guy. He was an illegal alien from Guatemala. And let's take a look at more about this. And this infuriates me. I think some people in the Biden administration should face, I think they should face prison charges. So they had a guy here. The Trump administration deported this piece of shit illegal. He's not going to help our country. Look at him. He's not going to have any value. It's nothing but a drain on our social services, criminal. Fuck him. Go back to Guatemala. They need to all go back. And he, I guess just have fun, set a New York City woman alive. She was sleeping on the subway, and she said, I'm on fire. And he was previously captured, and Trump deported him. But under Biden, he re-entered. And not only that, you guys helped pay for him. So his every food, shelter, you guys paid for him. And he expressed his thankfulness, right? Because he gets out of the shithole that his people create because they can't do any better because they lack the IQ and the traits to develop a working country. So they want to come here. He comes here out of a shithole. He gets paid for everything. And he gives the thanks to you by setting one of our people on fire. And so he was deported in 2018. And Biden and that criminal regime that's going out that needs to be prosecuted, they let him in 2023. This is reported on in the New York Post. Outrageous. This is, we don't need this. And I know not every migrant sets people on fire, but you can tell by looking at him, he's not going to be a brilliant brain surgeon. He's not going to add anything to this country. And millions of people like him aren't going to add anything. They have their own homeland, And I'm sorry they screwed it up. I'm sorry they fucked it up. They got to fix it. We have no access to Americans and white people is not a human right. And I understand he wants to come here because we could give him all this free stuff. But you notice even when we give him this free stuff and opportunity, there's no thankfulness. It's just a sense of envy and hate. Because this is what happens when you give people charity. They end up resenting it. So we shouldn't give these people charity. We shouldn't allow them in the country. If do-gooders want to help these people, they can go to Guatemala. God bless you. Try to fix them. It's been tried. It doesn't work, but go ahead. If you build a water treatment plant, they'll just loot it. But go ahead. If that makes you feel happy. But don't bring them here. And this is just an example. We need mass deportations. These people need to go back to their homeland. It's re-immigration, not immigration. They need to go back to their homelands. And even the ones that, well, first of all the illegal ones are all criminals by definition. They broke the law coming into this country. They're criminals. They need to go. And it's funny, they act like the most horrific ideas they have to be around their own people in their homeland. I thought we're the evil white supremacists. Oh, we're so in fear of you. Well, you want to go back to your homeland then, right? Why do you want to be around us? So, and as I said a million times, it's just not because of crime. These crimes are horrific because I know shit looks, well, why, Americans do this sort of thing too. Yeah, I don't care. These people don't belong here. We have a right to our culture, our language, the way we live. We have no reason to be pulled down by these people. And that's all they'll do is pull us down. And I hope Trump is serious about deporting these people. And it's just outrageous. And the criminal nature of the Biden regime, allowing violent criminals, dumping them on our streets is just outrageous. But this is where we are. This is where we are. So that was pretty bad. All right, some more immigration-themed stuff here. Yeah, if you guys have questions or comments, please send them in as Super Chat or Rant. Today, I got to get back to Fayetteville. We're doing some Christmas stuff. So today's show will be about an hour. Maybe a little more, but probably an hour. All right. Speaking of immigration, we have the Guatemalan illegal set someone on fire. In Germany, they had this immigrant from Saudi Arabia. He went on a Allah Akbar thing in a Christmas market, running over German Christians, murdering them in a terrorist attack. And so what happened, this guy was a doctor. He's from Saudi Arabia. He was accused in Saudi Arabia of being a rapist. So he went to Germany. And what he did, as Elon Musk said, Saudi Arabia wanted him back for rape. But in Germany, they denied his request, citing human rights concern, despite his clear evidence of his activities, right? And after arriving in Germany, this Abdul whatever, I don't give a fuck, he does, with that name, you don't belong in Germany, reinvents himself as a dissident, publicly declaring himself an atheist and an ex-Muslim. This move appeared to be strategic, likely aimed at securing full asylum protection by Germany by portraying himself as a fugitive. So what we had here with this guy is a guy that didn't belong in Germany. He has his own country, right? Saudi Arabia. Yeah, I'm sorry if he doesn't like it there. But I guess he allegedly raped someone there, went to Germany. Saudi Arabia wanted him back in order for him to face justice. And then he knew to game the system by claiming he was no longer Muslim. He was an atheist because he understood that, oh, I can't go back. They'll execute me. And Germany said, oh, we're so sorry. We'll keep you here. And he was a doctor, so he was well educated. And how did he respond? Okay, because a lot of people are trying to say, oh, he wasn't even a Muslim. Oh, bullshit. Why did he take his truck and run over a bunch of Christians at a Christmas market? You notice he didn't attack a mosque. No, he didn't do that. I could understand if he's an ex-Muslim, upset with Muslims, he would attack a mosque. No, he attacked Christians. So fuck off with that narrative. This guy shouldn't have been in Germany. They have their own homelands. I don't care about the past. They don't belong. We have no obligation to import these people in our homelands. It does not help us. It does not make us richer. It doesn't improve our standard of living. But we have like, oh, you have to take them. No, we don't. Once we get to the point we don't have to take these people, they can have their own homelands. This will work out a lot better. And really sad situation. It's become almost like a tradition. Every Christmas we have some Islamic terrorist attack in Europe. And we don't have to tolerate this, and we shouldn't tolerate this. All right, here we go. And we had some more information about this guy. Of course, the police knew about him. And guys, thank you so much for being here. Breaking, the Christmas market attacker was reported to German police last year for disclosing his intent to run over people in a terrorist attack, but they ignored it. Of course. But if you're like a white German grandma, a real German, like a pocket knife, the police are going to descend upon you. If you say something mean on social media like, oh, Germany should be for the German peoples, they're going to run in and arrest you. But if you say, I'm planning on maybe doing a terrorist attack and running over Christians, we'll let that go. It's we got a bunch of traitors that are running our country. They actually hate us. I know Germany's not really free. They're occupied. But we got to get our self-determination again. We have a right to our homelands. These people around the world, they don't have some intrinsic right to live with us. The only reason they want to live with us because they can't create those society. I don't give a shit. They got to figure that out on their own. Oh, but you bomb us. We don't bomb your whole country. That's bullshit. Like their house is bombed. Bullshit excuse. I'm fine, not bomb you. Just keep you over there. All right, we're not going to bomb you. Then you go back. That should be the deal. And but no, they don't want that. There's nothing more horrifying to them than have to live with their own people in their own country because they know what a shithole dictatorship would be and poverty and no human rights. We create an advanced civilization. They come here. They have a lot of envy because they know they can't create it. They just take from our society and they respond by setting people on fire or driving over our children in a truck. We don't have to deal with these people. And we shouldn't have to deal with these people. And it's just not the United States or Germany. This is a pattern everywhere. And we see this here, right here. A recent attack, again, this is like every Christmas, or in Sweden. Sweden basically had almost no violent crime in the 70s. They really didn't. They were almost a society that eliminated crime. Not 100%, but pretty close. Now it's an extremely violent place. And they're not Swedish people doing this. They decided to bring in the third world. Remember Barbara Specter? Oh, Sweden won't be able to exist in the new world unless it's multicultural. Oh, we got to bring these people in. It's so funny because someone asked her, well, maybe we should do that to your homeland, Israel. Oh, no, we're just a small people. We got to have our own homeland. But they poured all these people in Sweden. And the Swedes, some of the Swedish people's fault. They were like, oh, you stupid Americans, you're so ignorant when it comes about race. Don't you know we all bleed red? So they bring all these people in. And now it's like a home to these bomb attacks. Sweden. There was a record 149 confirmed explosive attacks in Sweden in 2023. The vast majority were carried out by immigrant gangs. This is just crazy. This is what's happening all over Europe. It happens in England. And again, it's just not the violent attacks. It's taking away our self-determination, how we see the world. We want to have Christmas markets. We want to have our religion, our languages, our homeland. We shouldn't have to apologize for it. You'll never see the Jewish people ever apologizing to have their homeland. We don't need to apologize for it. Stop apologizing for it. But it's sad what is happening all across Europe and the United States and Canada. But this is a huge issue, and I hope Trump is going to be able to do something about that. Let's see here. Just all the type of crime we had. I'll do a couple other crime stuff. Then we'll get some more positive stuff. I don't want to end with just all negative, but here we go.
Say a 3-year-old was in the car with their pants down and their diaper off. The parents said they briefly left their 2 children in the car while they retrieved items from their apartment. When they returned, they found Bedingwa leaning on the back.
What the hell is this? Biddy Gingawa. Is that Welsh or is that English last name?
With his genitals exposed.
So he had his penis out and he pulled the diaper off his little baby. Unreal. We should not have to tolerate people that act in such a savage manner. So that was a 3-year-old that was trying to sexually molest that was the guy that was trying to sexually molest a 3-year-old. And then we have these YouTube pranksters. Let's take a look at this here. And YouTube pranks used to be kind of funny, although most of them were fake. They were staged. But now they just, as I wrote a Substack article about this, you have to keep pushing the envelope to get attention. So they had this YouTube person here. Let's see here if I can do this. So this guy, he's 27 years old. Charles Smith, he goes by Wolfie something, was arrested Saturday by Mesa police in Arizona after posting videos of himself spraying food at Walmart in Arizona with an insect killer. He has now been booked on charges of a felony and 3 misdemeanors for his social media prank gone wrong. What's the prank? I don't really get the prank. The prank is something funny, harmless, and you tell, oh, it's just doing a prank. Maybe scare someone with a ghost or something. That'd be kind of funny. I don't know. That's the prank. Poisoning food is not a prank. That's a felony. I don't see the humor in it. Yeah, it's just really incredible that this is sort of the how social media has made everything toxic, and you have people doing all this type of stuff. Outrageous. So that is in the United States, someone spraying poison on the food in order to get likes. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. You know, you have that woman, she had to sleep with 100 guys in a day trying to get media attention. Now she's going to try to 1,000. It just never ends. Hey, I got a tip. Thank you from Stream Elements, $4.20. Was Truman right to drop the nukes? Yeah, well, this is one of those things. I don't think we should have been in World War II in the first place. We shouldn't have got involved with what we were doing, basically a blockade of Japan. We could have avoided the war. But if you're in the war, the people at the time, they didn't have much sympathy for the Japanese because the Japanese were very cruel to American prisoners. They did torture them. So I don't really care one way or the other on that. A war, people kill each other. That's what happens. And what happens if you're the winner, you justify it. And if you're the loser, you get executed for war crimes. That's all it is. Like if, let's say Germany and Japan won, then yeah, Truman would have been executed for a war crime. People that authorized Dresden bombing, the fire bombing, they would have been executed. Because I know the nuke killed a lot of people, but actually the fire bombing in Germany killed more people. So I don't really have a strong opinion one way or the other. In war, people die. That's what wars are about. That's the way it's always been. The important thing is to stop wars, to try to keep out of wars. And so Japan, but it's interesting though, even though Japan got nuked, they have recovered nicely. They're a very prosperous country. And because they haven't had diversity. Actually, diversity is more devastating than a nuclear bomb. You can recover from a nuclear bomb pretty quick. So I don't really, were the Japanese right to torture the United States POWs? Or I don't know. I mean, they engaged in rape and everything else. So I don't really have that much sympathy, to be honest. In general, I don't have much sympathy. I think a lot of people virtue signal because if you're going to be sad about the entire world, you'll just spend every day in tears crying. So the further removed from me, the more, it happens, whatever. It doesn't mean I advocate it. Let's say if there's an earthquake in Turkey now and 1,000 people die. I'm not happy that happened, but I don't really care. But it's something closer. It means more to me. So in a war that happened 80 years ago, whatever. I don't really care that much about it. Maybe I'm getting a little more cynical that way, but that's the way I am. All right, let's see here. Yeah, FDR, it did know in advance that the Japanese was heading Hawaii. We could have avoided that war. That would have been the best thing to do in the first place. Okay, and hopefully my new camera is working good and my mic. I will test that out, the sound. Let's see, does everything sound good and all that? Let me just take a look here. I guess I'm not hearing anything bad, so I guess all the sound's working in the video. Okay. All right. Now let's take a look at some Trump stuff. Trump has been on a roll. We'll take a look at this here. I think he was at the Turning Point conference or something. So, Trump says a lot of stuff. You don't know if it's really going to happen, but let's take a look at this.
What they've done to this country is just absolutely terrible, but we'll end the left's campaign of racial discrimination and restore equality to our land and all over our land. And you see that happening so much with the vote and the kind of vote we got. Nobody ever expected anything like that. And I'll end all of the Marxist diversity, equity, and inclusion policies across the entire federal government immediately. And at the same time, we will ban these unlawful policies we're going to ban them from the private sector as well. In America, we believe in the merit system. And now, because of the major decision handed down recently by the Supreme Court, our country has again gone back to the merit system. That's what made our country great. And I want to just thank the Supreme Court, because that took a great deal of courage for them to do that. And some people were surprised by it, but that's what made us great. Merit made us great.
Yeah, I hear what Trump is saying, and everyone cheered. And the problem with this, let me just look up something here, is there's a phrase called disparate impact. And so businesses, they have a problem, because let's say if they don't hire based on race. And even before DEI, I remember when my dad was working in the 70s. He was a computer programmer, and he said he joked they did a program to count blacks and Mexicans and everything else. Because what happened is there was a Supreme Court ruling you can't have an impact that isn't equal to minorities. So this is a fundamental problem that CivNat Republicans have. They believe that all racial groups and ethnic groups are the same. They have the same intelligence, they have the same ability, they have the same characteristics. And they really believe this, that we all bleed red. The dream of Martin Luther King, don't judge someone by the color of the skin, all that. And they believe everyone's really the same. It's only a difference of skin color. It's not inherent differences within different racial groups or ethnic groups, which biologically is an interesting thing to think, because we don't think that about dogs. We have dog breeds because of selective breeding. They're different. And we don't think a Irish wolfhound is the same as a poodle, or a greyhound is the same as a basset hound. The greyhounds, they run quite a bit faster than basset hounds. And yeah, they both bleed red, and yeah, they're both dogs. But because genetics makes a big difference. And there's some environment too, but genetics does make a difference. But when it comes to humans, a lot of the CivNat Republicans or conservatives, they reject biology at that point, and they just believe, well, we're all created equal by God, which meant spiritually, not physically. But this is what they believe. And so they believe if you give everyone an equal chance, then you will have an equal outcome. So let's say if you have a society that, just to make it simple, like 60% white, and let's say 10% black, and maybe 20% Hispanic, and then 10% Asian. I'm just throwing those numbers out there. When you have a job or a company, it should fall exactly in those lines because everyone's the same. But it doesn't, because we've seen that, especially when it's intellectual ability, you will disproportionately have white people, Jewish people, Asians, and blacks will always be at the very bottom. And yeah, there'll be exceptions, but in general, that is what happens. So how do you explain that? Well, the left, they explain that, well, the only reason it can be is because of the white supremacy. There must be some hidden discrimination against blacks. And white conservatives, like the GOP, will say, oh, no, it's just they haven't had access to good education. And it's those Democrat teachers, it's the school system that's holding them back. Did you know that the teachers, the Democrat, or the teachers union is a big Democrat organization? That's the problem. We need to have school choice so these black kids, they can compete with white kids and Asians and do just as well if they have access to education. But the problem is that we've seen that doesn't even hold true either. It doesn't matter if you send black kids to a private school, they're not going to do any better because there's genetics that were in play here. So both the left, the mainstream left, and the mainstream right believe something that's fundamentally not true, and there's no reason to believe it. We wouldn't believe it with any other animal. But it's an article of faith to them, and this is the problem they have. So while Trump can say this, and that's good, and I support this, let's just have just merit. Whoever does the best, they get the jobs. All right. Well, what happens then when all the jobs, like in engineers, are exclusively white or Asian or Jewish and almost all male? Are you okay with that? And see, that is where the issue becomes. And these corporations, even if they don't have DEI, they are so scared about being sued based on other court cases that, so say if you had a hypothetical company, let's say a real company, let's say IBM, right? And IBM, they decide we're just going to hire the best people. And then it turns out all the best people were white and Asian and like 80% male. Do you think that would go over? No, they'd be sued. So they're kind of in a tough spot. Even if they don't have DEI, they got to discriminate against white males, otherwise they face lawsuits. So you'd have to overturn the whole civil rights industry, and going back to the 50s, in order to make this work. So yeah, I agree what he's saying there, and that sounds good. But all they're going to do is they'll get rid of the term DEI, and they'll do discrimination in other ways, and in some cases just to protect themselves legally. So that is a problem that most Republicans won't deal with. And so that will be an issue. Yeah, right. So, Super Chat, thank you. I appreciate this. And thank you guys for being here. I appreciate this. Chris, I sent you a proposal for an app to support voluntary ID checks by U.S. citizens. Let me know what you think. A proposal for an app to support voluntary ID checks by U.S. I'll take a look at that, Chris. I will have to look at my email. I guess I missed that. I'm not sure. We need what we need is the whole immigration thing can be solved fairly easy. It's just have E-Verify, meaning before you get a job in the United States, a business has to verify that you're a United States citizen. Whether you're American or if you're from Guatemala or wherever, they verify that you're a United States citizen. And if you're not, they're not allowed illegally to hire you. And if a business should be caught hiring illegal aliens, the business should be shut down and confiscated by the government and disbanded. That's how it should be. Like you're dealing drugs. It should just be shut down and confiscated. And if that was the policy, then we wouldn't really have to worry a lot about these illegals coming into the country because there would be no work. Now, that's one aspect. The other aspect, we have to make it illegal for them to accept charity. No free housing, no free schooling, no free medical care, none of that bullshit. So if you got rid of the welfare, and if you got rid of them able to get work, that would solve, I would say, 95% of the issue. Again, I would address it four basic ways. E-verify for work, make it illegal to give illegals welfare, have the FBI and the Department of Justice investigate organizations like Soros and Catholic charities that bring these illegals in. They need to be investigated and go to prison. And then number 4, secure the border. If you do those 4 things, you're going to have basically 0 illegal immigrants, next to 0. So it's not that difficult to stop. I think we can do that. But thank you, though. I appreciate the super chat. All right, let's take a look here. We got some more from Trump, some more good things. Trump is going all based and everything here. Let's see here. Let me bring this up. Lost it for a second here. Hope you guys are all going to have a great Christmas coming up. And it's been a quick year, that's for sure. A lot of stuff. It's been a crazy year. All the happenings that have. I think next year's hopefully be a little calmer, but we will see.
But President McKinley was the president that was responsible for creating a vast sum of money in the United States that Teddy Roosevelt then spent. So let's say they were both excellent presidents, but McKinley did that, and that's one of the reasons that we're going to bring back the name of Mount McKinley, because I think he deserves it. I think he deserves it. There are lots of things we can name, but I think he deserves it. That was not very gracious to somebody that did a good job. And as you know, he was assassinated. He was assassinated.
So this is, let me just shut this off here. Yeah, so this is really interesting. So in Alaska, Mount McKinley, because of the natives, we got to call it Denali, is basically trying to do white erasure. Really, the people that lived here before the European settlers founded this land in America, they were very primitive. So who created this country were primarily Europeans. Indians were not Americans. In fact, they weren't officially Americans until the 1920s. It's a ridiculous concept. So Alaska was nothing until Europeans developed it, and they named it Mount McKinley. And this is interesting because I know in Canada, everyone else, we got to go back to native terms. So I like how Trump is doing this. It's interesting and it's pretty bold, and I like it. Mount McKinley. And let's see. Trump talk a little bit about foreign policy with Putin.
Including foreign policy, these crazy wars that we're in. One of the things I want to do, and quickly, and President Putin said that he wants to meet with me as soon as possible. So we have to wait for this, but we have to end that war. That war is a horrible, horrible. The soldiers, the number of soldiers being killed, it's a flat plane, and the bullets are going, and there's powerful bullets, powerful guns, and the only thing that's going to stop them is a human body. They go dead flat land. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Millions of soldiers have died now. Millions. We're seeing numbers that are just crazy. Got to stop it. It's ridiculous. Would have never happened if I was president. That war would have never happened.
So I got a text that the volume is kind of low on these videos. I'm not sure what to do with that. This is on YouTube, and I have the volume cranked up all the way. Make sure I do have it cranked up all the way. I think I do. Yeah, so it's just a little low. I apologize for that. But on there is Trump is saying he does plan to meet with Putin. and try to hammer out a peace agreement for Ukraine. I hope that's the case. It's good that Trump is not trying to keep on this war that the neocons have pushed. All right, some more stuff here. This is really crazy about that. Trump is talking about the Panama Canal, that maybe we, the United States, because we built the canal, not the Panamanian people. Panama responds to Trump's tweet about the canal. Then Trump responded by renaming the canal with "Welcome to the United States Canal." So this is hilarious. President of Panama responds to Trump's threat. Every square meter of the Panama Canal belongs to Panama and will continue belonging to Panama. And Trump said, "We'll see about that." And then he said, "Welcome to the United States Canal." I don't know. This could be, sometimes Trump says like wild things. And part of it is a little bit of a negotiating ploy. He did this with Canada, with Trudeau, saying that, Trudeau might be a good governor for our 51st state. And what he wants with Canada is to spend more money on border security, to stop illegals from Canada. I think most are from Mexico, but he wants to stop that and the flow of drugs. So he throws something out there really wild in order to get them moving. And it looks like Canada is moving. Trudeau promised like $1 billion on border security. And the issue with the Panama Canal, I don't know if Trump really wants it back, but Panama keeps raising their rates, how much they charge for ships to go through the canal. And Trump doesn't like these price increases. So this could be a negotiating tactic. It is interesting how he's throwing all this out. He's throwing all this stuff that a lot of people think is crazy, but it's pretty cool. And we'll see that I could go for it. A rant, just to be able to speak the truth in public is a breath of fresh air. To be able to call men men and women women, to use the real name for places, it feels so good. Yeah, it really does. And I think Havel, he was in Czechoslovakia during communism, and he wrote something, he was a dissident, about how important it is to always speak the truth and living the truth. And under oppressive regimes like we see now in Canada and England, they try to put fear in you, saying a lie, that if a guy's dressed up as a woman, you have to pretend he's a woman, otherwise you're going to jail. And it's good to be able to speak the truth. And we always need to do that. It is liberating when you can do that. And it feels good. And there's a lot of evil people that want to prevent us from speaking the truth. They want to keep people scared and in silence. So Trump is coming out against a lot of this stuff. We will see. And here's some more stuff about Trump. I think Greenland he's talking about. So let's take a look at this here.
This, when the president's speaking a lot when he was on the campaign trail, what do you do? And it drives people crazy, but they just say, new audience, I got to give the same message every single time. And sometimes you carry the message and you go, wow, it's the same speech. Since the president won, he's putting new things into all his remarks, whether it's the Patriot Awards or what we saw yesterday in front of Charlie Kirk's group.
Yeah. I think part of it is like when you're running for office, you want to be very consistent and tell people this is what I'm going to do. Now he's won. It's not like he's making some giant crazy turn here. He's just trying to maybe put some meat on the bones of what the agenda is going to be now that he's got the power soon of governance.
Let's watch a little bit from what he said yesterday. Watch this.
So we get the highest vote ever for a Republican candidate. We won by 36 points with young people. That never happens. A Republican loses by 36 or 40. So I'm going to have to start thinking about TikTok. We did go on TikTok, and we had a great response with billions of views, billions and billions of views. They brought me a chart, and it was a record, and it was so beautiful to see. And as I looked at it, I said, maybe we got to keep this sucker around a little while, you know?
Yeah, I don't think we should ban TikTok. I mean, it's cringe, but Oh, it's a Chinese spying device. No, it isn't.
On my first day back in the Oval Office, I will sign a historic slate of executive orders to close our border to illegal aliens and stop the invasion of our country. And on that same day, we will begin the largest deportation operation in American history.
It's good he's still saying this.
And we will create the new Department of Government Efficiency headed by Elon Musk. And no, he's not taking the presidency. I like having smart people. You know, they're on a new kick. Russia, 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 Ukraine, 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 all the different hoaxes. And the new one is President Trump has ceded the presidency to Elon Musk. No, no, that's not happening. But Elon's done an amazing job. Isn't it nice to have smart people that we can rely on? But no, he's not going to be president, that I can tell you. And I'm safe. You know why? He can't be. He wasn't born in this country.
They picked up on that, but Trump's just having fun with that.
Has anyone ever heard of the Panama Canal? Huh? Because we're being ripped off at the Panama Canal like we're being ripped off everywhere else.
Yeah, so this is why, because he wants how much the Panama charges to go through the canal to be lower. So Trump's threatening, hey, maybe we should just take it back. After all, we built it.
When President Jimmy Carter foolishly gave it away for $1. During his term in office, it was solely for Panama to manage and not for China or any other country to manage. It was given to Panama and to the people of Panama, but it has provisions. You got to treat us fairly, and they haven't treated us fairly. If the principles, both moral and legal, of this magnanimous gesture of giving are not followed, then we will demand that the Panama Canal be returned to the United States of America in full, quickly, and without question.
So those are some of the things I was talking about. So he's talking about an Iron Dome for the country. I want Greenland from Denmark.
I like that, but I suggested we should trade to Denmark. We could give them Puerto Rico and we get Greenland. I would support that. I would rather have Greenland.
And by the way, I want the Panama Canal. So I asked the brain room about the Panama Canal. They say there's no proof that China owns any portion of it. We use 72% of all traffic is American, and the prices did go up 15%, nearly $5 billion over the last year. But they say it's because of low water levels, and they have to slow down the amount of traffic that goes through. But you know what? Rattle their cage. Make them justify it. Yeah. And let's see if we can get those prices down. After all, we are a frequent customer.
I do think part of this, though, is national security. You think of Greenland, for example. The Arctic is a major, I think, battle area for the future in terms of who controls the Arctic. And I think the same applies to the Panama Canal. China may not control it, but they, my understanding is, have some very strategic interests in that area. So part of this, I think, is...
Well, you know, we all say this, but maybe Trump is looking in a way that we've been trained never to look anymore. When's the last time America has really expanded? And Trump is like, why do we have to stop? Maybe Canada should be part of the United States. Maybe Greenland should be part of the United States. Maybe we should control the Panama Canal. We've been that's colonialism. You can't do that. But maybe this is what great countries do. At least he's throwing that out there in the conversation. And a lot of people, myself included, think, yeah, this is a negotiating tactic, but maybe there's something more to it. Because who would stop us, really? Canada can't stop us if we want to take it. And a lot of Canadians, I think they would like to be part of the United States. They would have free speech, the First Amendment. They would have their gun again. We get rid of that stupid carbon tax that's starving them. They would become more prosperous. They would have more freedoms. And we would have access to more oil. I mean, Alberta. The bad thing, and there's a lot of good Canadian people, but there's a lot of shit lives in Canada too. A lot of Indians. And I don't mean native people, but from India. So there's a lot of stuff to work through there.
Trump starting a negotiation with, we want the whole thing back. And then the Panamanians might say, well, hang on, no, but let's have this conversation. Trump just announced yesterday his ambassador to Denmark which owns Greenland. Can you imagine having that job now or being the ambassador to Panama? You're going to have a busy opening few weeks here.
I think it's one of the PayPal mafia. It's Ken Howry, ambassador to Denmark. So I think he's probably like, good, I want something.
For purposes of national security and freedom throughout the world, the United States of America feels that ownership and control of Greenland is an absolute necessity. I remember when Trump said that early on. It just came from left field. And my whole life, no one ever thought about Greenland. Who knows where it is? All I know about Greenland is on maps. It's like way too big. It's not as big as it shows, but it's near the North Pole. And there's like not much there. I think there's a lot of natural resources. But now it's on the map. It's like, yeah, we want to buy Greenland.
He put that person there with this exact thing in mind, because he posted on True Social, for purposes of national security and freedom through the world, the United States of America feels that the ownership and control of Greenland is an absolute necessity. This is something that he brought up during his first term in office in Denmark, which, I mean, Greenland is a sovereign nation, but under the Kingdom of Denmark's authority, I guess.
Sovereignty, they're within that kingdom.
It's an autonomous nation.
Yes.
Anyway, Donald Trump was mocked for saying it, but he clearly has a plan for why he wants to control Greenland.
Well, just hypothetically, what if we just take it? What would happen? Is Greenland, I mean, how many divisions does Greenland have? I don't think any. It's like Canada really couldn't do anything.
Or take it under the United States' umbrella. And one of the things I'm just pure speculation here is he is talking a lot about how to get criminal illegal immigrants out of our country. And if countries like Venezuela that we don't have relations with won't take them back, maybe he'll build a facility in Greenland and
poor Greenland people. We'll send all our diversity to Greenland. No, diversity is a blessing, though. So I would send them to Israel because it's a way to bless Israel. God blesses those who bless Israel. So we're going to bless the shit out of Israel with diversity.
Ship them there. That would for sure be a deterrent for people to come to the country if they know that they're going to Greenland.
Very cold.
Yeah.
Not really. Greenland's a nice place to live, actually. So, so Trump is going on that. He's talking about maybe getting Greenland, taking back the Panama Canal. This could be kind of fun. Let's see here. The other thing he's talking about, I'm up for this too. Are you guys ever thought about invading Mexico again? Yeah, that's on the slate here. Breaking: Donald Trump and his team are reportedly debating how much to invade Mexico once he takes office. Trump and his transition team are discussing a soft invasion of the country. And this is to go after the drug cartels. Well, I mean, they've already invaded a lot of the United States, so maybe we'll northern Mexico go in there and push the drug cartels out. That would be something. I got another super chat. And guys, Merry Christmas. Thank you so much. God bless you. And Widukind, thank you. Pray for Madagberg. Pray for the world. Okay, thank you. That is always good to pray. All right, let's see. Magdaberg. Okay, let me see here. I also got a new keyboard. Yeah, that was where the terrorist attack happened, is Magdaberg. So, yeah, I feel really bad for the people that were killed there, but that is preventable. Before we make any changes, and this is one of the things I think Trump is valuable in, he's kind of changing, and I hate this word, but it's kind of changing the paradigm, the way you look at things. You don't have to be boxed in. Like, oh, we gotta defer to the native people because they're so wise. And no, they're not. We can have Mount McKinley. And there's no reason we can't continue to expand our greatness as a country. Like Greenland, right? Or Panama Canal, if they're not going to play ball, we'll take the canal back, rebuild it. So those were unthinkable just a few years ago. Now he's throwing that out there. And we need to get to the point, not just America, but all countries, like, we have no obligation to take in the third world. I'm sorry you live in a shitty place, but you got to fix it yourself. And I think hopefully that is what comes out of there. So, Yeah, thank you for that super chat, especially during the time of Christmas. It's always a good time for prayer. And I hope the Europeans, our brothers, are able to go through the same process that we're going through in the United States. Europe, Canada, and England, they're always a couple of years behind us culturally, but they follow us. And I've noticed this year, we've gone past peak woke. In fact, I think there's been a change in this country against a lot of that bullshit. And I think other countries will start to follow too. I think it will happen. Maybe I'm being optimistic, but I think it will happen. So thank you very much for that super chat. And let's see here. A couple other stuff here. Speaking of woke, Donald Trump talk. He's not a big fan of all this woke bullshit. So let's take a listen to this.
Woke has to stop because along with everything else, it's destroying our country. We're going to stop woke. Woke is bullshit.
So, yeah. It's so funny how these things, the evolution of words, because now woke is a dirty word, and it's funny how that happened, like DEI. The problem is they may get rid of the word, but they'll try to rebrand as something else. Is what you really mean behind that. And I think a lot of it has to do, when people think of woke, I think the first thing that pops in my mind is like a man with a beard wearing a dress, chasing around girls in the locker room, right? That's kind of like what we think of now. And Trump kind of addresses that. So let's take a look at this.
My pen, on day one, we're going to stop the transgender lunacy. And I will sign executive orders to end child sexual mutilation, get transgender out of the military and out of our elementary schools and middle schools and high schools.
I mean, that's a start, but it needs to, the whole LGBT lobby, it doesn't, the sexuality or perversion doesn't belong in the military or the schools.
And we will keep men out of women's sports. And that will likewise be done on day one. Should I do day one, day two, or day three? How about day one, right?
He's going to have a busy day one.
Under the Trump administration, it will be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
That's okay. I wish he would say it would be a policy. There is no gender. There's sexes. Living things have a sex, not a gender. But whatever. I guess that's hopeless. I'm kind of old school. That's not going to change. But yeah, Trump looked pretty base, though. He looked pretty base. As that happens, I got a rant from Kit888. Thank you, Kit. Merry Christmas, Kit. As that happens, the Chinese have been working hard to build up influence in Greenland, getting the mineral rights and importing workers. They have an eye on the importance of the area. Yeah, there's a lot of minerals in Greenland, and this is sort of the global play that's going on with the United States. And Trump, he's like a Teddy Roosevelt character, or Andrew Jackson. He's pro-American. He doesn't have any problem with expanding America. He's not exactly my philosophy, but I understand it. And I kind of like in some ways the way he is. And then Kit888, $5, just to speak the truth in public. Yeah, I already talked about that one. Yeah, I agree with that. Thank you, Kit, so much on that. And let's see here. So this has been a lot of fun. And today I have to keep it a little short because I'm going back to Fayetteville and got some Christmas stuff to do. But as a reminder, Tuesday night, tomorrow night, subscribe to Substack. Subscribe, not just as a free subscriber, but support me on Substack, and you can be part of our Gumroad on Tuesday night. Now, not Gumroad, Substack. You can be part of our group app on Tuesday night. Roundtable on Tuesday night. I'm going to continue with group app and Gumroad for the next month, but start to migrate over to Substack. Subscribe, and if you subscribe, you get a monthly exclusive videos, and we have the roundtable and exclusive articles. Now, there's a free part that I will do, just like some of my daily articles. Augustus, Sonny, the Canadian waffle SS pancake division can't do much but make maple syrup. Yeah, let's face it, Canada couldn't really do much if we invaded. I think a lot of Canadians would support her, to be honest, get rid of Trudeau. So I think that would be a good thing. And let's see here. I'll be right back. Just hang on here, guys. I had something. Just a second. I got to step away for 1 second here. Hey, sorry about that, guys. It's a live broadcast. We had someone come to our door here, and we never really get visitors because I'm in the middle of nowhere. And it was my rancher neighbor. He brought over his wife. They brought over some cookies for Christmas. And the guy, he's been here. He's in his 80s. He's been here. He was born in these hills, and he owns like most of these hills. He's like the most powerful man in the county. He's got a lot of influence. But so I needed to say hi to him, and it was great to see. Yeah. Early 30s, but gender has become more family-friendly version of sex because of the immature jokes. I don't egg the argument about gender. Yeah, and I know words have different meanings, and words will change meanings over time. And so I'll probably have to give up on that. But when I was taught, the way it was is living things have a sex, typically male or female. I say typically because earthworms, I think, have both, or they're not. I don't know. But advanced animals have male or female sex. And a gender refers primarily to like nouns, like a bull, the noun bull, it's gendered male because it's for a male cow. But I know maybe I'm giving up on that. So, sorry anyway. Thank you, Surfing Cowboy, on that. And sorry for the interruption, guys, but I wanted to meet this guy because he's a great neighbor, and it's good to be on good terms with your neighbors around here. Because I was accepted into this community. It was a little hard because this is an isolated community. People have been here forever, and I'm kind of an outsider, and they were kind of suspicious at first. But I'm like, hey, I got my Confederate battle flag. I'm with you guys. So they see I'm kind of cool, so they don't really care. But I needed to talk to them, and wish them Merry Christmas. And speaking of which, I need to probably get going here because I need to get back to Fayetteville. But I will be back Tuesday night. We will have our roundtable. Be sure, guys, to let me make sure if you guys don't have it. And it's a great way to support me, and I really do appreciate it if you will support me monthly on Substack. And again, I'm doing this. I did like Gumroad for a while, but Gumroad has so many technical issues with their emails. Because what I do is I email the private link where we have our roundtable, or if I have like exclusive video just for my subscribers, a private link. But this Gumroad, they had troubles getting their emails out on a timely basis. My friend Dave, he didn't get notified until the day after the roundtable, and so I'm like, I fought with Gumroad, but they're just not ready for prime time, in my opinion. Substack is a major operation. It's not small; they're huge. They're technically really solid. So everything I'm kind of consolidating this year on Substack. And if you're on Gumroad or Group App, don't worry, I'm not going to throw it away anytime soon. But my prime support's going to be on Gumroad. So I do appreciate that. And so just the upcoming schedule this week, we have our roundtable tomorrow. I hope to get an article out tomorrow, and I might do a video depending on the time. Wednesday, we're not having Happy Homelands this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday, the 1st of January, Alicia said she can do it. We're going to be doing it there. So no content on Christmas Day. On Friday, though, Friday night, I will have the Ramsey Paul Show review the news of the week. That's 8 p.m. And Night Owls we're still doing. Sasha wanted to do it the other night. I was just so tired, but we are definitely going to do Night Owls. That's kind of an ad hoc show. But guys, it's been a wonderful year being here with you guys. And I appreciate all you're doing and your support. And I hope you guys all have a really Merry Christmas. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.